Alright, so this plugin I've never used before ever in my life, and I just saw it there in the list. I needed to do a new what's in stock video, so I'm like, this plugin has kind of been, I saw it a few times and I was like, ugh. So I did my research on it. I checked out a few YouTube videos, like always, and actually this thing could be a killer. So what we're gonna talk about today is the Corpus. What's in stock? Corpus. So first off, before we get started, I just released a new sample pack. You can find it on my Patreon. I released it under my label that hopefully we're gonna be able to launch once this coronavirus kind of settles down and we can start making events and stuff like that. I've researched a few YouTube videos, so there's one that you guys need to check out. His name is GardnSound. I'm gonna link the video down at the bottom below, and it was crazy. So I'm definitely going to be following that guy a lot more because his videos are just insane. And let's dive straight to it. So I pulled out an analog track and we're going to go and find our Corpus. So there's several types of definitions. Some people think about it as like a reverb. Some people think about it as like a chorus effect. Some others think it's a whole like FM synthesis kind of thing. I'm not really sure what it is, but I know that you can get some really cool sounds. So I'm using just the basic analog, the default setting on the analog in Ableton, and we're gonna just go and play with the settings, right? So let's hear how it sounds, just the sound, the regular sound off. So I have a few MIDI notes here inside my analog system. Let's listen to just the analog by itself. Okay, pretty cool, pretty basic. Let's crank up this Corpus. We're gonna put it 100% and we're gonna start checking out what it does. So what I see is that there's an LFO that you can control. There's a tuning, which is a very manual tuning. You can't really tune to the note that you want it to be. Over here we have a whole bunch of different parameters that we're going to be able to play with, and a whole bunch of different settings: beam, marimba, string, membrane, plate, pipe, tube. I saw people use it as a reverb using the pipe settings, so we're going to play with that. I'm doing this all live. I haven't checked. I just finished watching the other guy's YouTube video and I'm really curious to see how this goes. Medium full, I'm not really sure, and we have a little filter section here in the end. So let's just play it with the default stuff, see how it goes. Okay, let's turn it off. Back on. Okay, let's take out marimba. Wow, so it really does sound like a string. Sounds the best. Kind of smooths it out, makes it a little less aggressive. Let's mess with this. So I feel it kind of acts like a resonator in a way to kind of just make that sound crunch. The regular sound. If I add a little bit of this, you really have some really cool sounds. Just have this in the background. So it does add some character. Let's try out this LFO. Take the width down to mono. so we don't have much of the notes that I wrote down in the MIDI thing, because this tune, we have to kind of like try to find out how to automate it. But already just with the basic analog in this Corpus on tube, I'm getting like a crazy sound. Okay, so there's some crazy things we can do with this. Now, I saw with GardnSound, again, check him out on YouTube, because he made me discover like some craziness that I'm super excited to show you guys. So this is not me, I didn't discover it, it's GardnSound that found it out. Check out his video, the link is in the bio, and this is really cool. So a way to be able to control this famous tune pitch, we can do it directly with MIDI notes, since we have a MIDI instrument, right? So we can take care of this guy and control, have Corpus be controlled by the MIDI notes here to assign to the tuning, right? So how we do that is always this little triangle. Whenever you have a little triangle on a plugin, I always go and check it out, because it's the secret sauce right there. So if we click on it, we have our sidechain, but it's not a regular sidechain, right? So the sidechain that we have is MIDI from. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the MIDI from the analog, post effects is fine, and we're gonna have it control the frequency. Click it on frequency, PB range +5, I'm not really sure, last and low, I'm not really sure, but we're just gonna hear how it sounds, and I can already see that all these parameters have kind of changed. So now we can kind of control it with steps, which is much more understandable for me, and we have the spread. So let's just listen to it and see how it goes. Let's bring this LFO back to this square thing. Let's take it off. Let's take off the Corpus. Alright, so if I put just a little bit, getting some crazy things. So if the steps, if I put a 12 step up, having this octave, I'm not hearing much. Here it's going like crazy. Let me drop the gain a little bit. Let's put a filter on. This is the kind of thing where you can see you have so many variations in the dynamics. This is the typical kind of thing that I want to just slap on a compressor, just to kind of control those and kind of tame those, right? So we're going to lower the threshold. Like that, we're a little bit more stable, right? I'm still going a little crazy. You guys might have some crazy sound, but let me lower it. Alright, let's try. So now we can see that the MIDI notes are actually controlling the Corpus in this tuning section that we used to have. So now it's basically like just a different instrument. So let's play with the parameters and see if we can find something crazy. Let's take off the filter. Taking off that filter just giving me something ridiculous. Alright, let's try out, this was the tube, let's try out the pipe. Let's take off the LFO. Let's turn this off. So it totally changes the sound. Let's try low. Nothing. Range. Nothing. So Apple Z, bring that back. Now the off decay, apparently if my notes, for example, are a little bit smaller, we can control, it can control kind of the resonance. So if I have something like chill, see that we still have like a long decay going on with the Corpus. If I turn it off, it's super slow, right? So if we have the off decay on, we can kind of control that decay. If you raise it all the way up, it's going to respect those MIDI notes when the MIDI note stops and when the MIDI notes goes. If we have it all the way to 0, it's just gonna do its own decay thing. Right? So that's super cool. All right, so this Corpus is crazy. Seems like we can do some really crazy things with it. I love it. So far I love it. So I'm gonna be able to do a bunch of sound design with this. Let's check out some of the presets that it has, but this time I wanna try it on one of my melody loops. So let's see if I have anything here. Do I? Let's try samples, loops. Let's try it on this loop right here. Boom. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this track. I don't need it anymore. This is the loop we're working on. We're gonna get our Corpus. Already we're having some crazy resonation going. So what I would do with this in particular, since it kind of goes like out of control, I want to be able to control it more, and in order to do that is I'm going to use it as a parallel kind of effect. So I'm going to create its own bus so I can control only the affected signal, right? So if I want to so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Apple G to group the effect. I'm going to create a new chain, which is just going to be the dry signal. So let's call that dry, and let's call this Corpus. Okay, so now I have one audio signal that's going through the Corpus, and the other audio signal is going through the dry channel. So if I turn the Corpus off, we're only hearing the regular audio, and I turn the Corpus, only the Corpus, and it's only the Corpus signal. So in order to have it 100%, we need to turn that dry wet knob 100%. And here we have only that Corpus signal. So I want to control a little bit more, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add just a compressor just to be able to tame a little bit those high frequencies in that attack. So I'm going to lower this a little bit. See how it just cracked right there? Alright, drop that volume down a little bit. And now let's just play with it, okay? Okay, so let's try some of their... It's not good. So bright snare, drum reso, drum to bass synth, kick loose, kick medium. So apparently these loop hollow. Now that's crazy. That's crazy. So I'm gonna take this guy off. That's crazy. If I mix it with the real sound. Alright, so that's a crazy tone. What I want to do, let's look at something else. This just adds already like so much texture to the sound. So let's drive it low, let's take off the original loop, and let's keep playing with some of these presets. I don't know why it took off my Apple Z. It took off my compressor, so let's just tweak it from here directly. Corpus. Let me open this up a bit bigger so we can see. Move. Nothing crazy. Oh, that's super cool. So yeah, that's the Corpus, and I mean, man, that was a plugin I've been looking at for a while, and I never tried it out, so I'm super stoked to be able to try it out today, and I'm definitely gonna be using this way more. So actually, the Corpus, I'm gonna drag this to my favorites. Boom! I'm gonna play with that like crazy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Try out the Corpus. Let me know what you guys find. If you try it out on vocals, if you try it out on drums, drum loops, you know, a kick, a snare, anything like that. Let me know what you guys find in the comments below. And yeah, peace out. Have a beautiful day, and much love from Hawaii.